Sophia woke up early in the morning, feeling excited and happy. Today was a very special day at the castle. There was going to be a royal gathering, and Sophia had been invited to meet some special guests. She had been looking forward to this day for a long time. As she stretched and got out of bed, she smiled at the thought of wearing her beautiful dress and sparkling shoes. Her excitement made her forget, just for a moment, that she had to be very careful while walking around the castle halls. After a warm breakfast with her family, Sophia went to her room to get ready. She opened her wardrobe, filled with colorful dresses and shiny accessories. Her eyes sparkled as she chose a light purple dress, decorated with tiny silver stars. It was her favorite dress, and she knew it would make her feel like a true princess. She carefully put on her dress, fastening the tiny buttons at the back. Amber, her stepsister, watched with a smile. "You look wonderful, Sophia," Amber said. Clover hopped nearby, his little nose twitching as if he was excited too. Sophia giggled. "Thank you, Amber. I feel so special today," she said, twirling in front of the mirror. Next came the most important part, her shoes. Sophia picked up a pair of sparkling purple heels, the perfect match for her dress. She had worn them before, but today she wanted to look extra elegant. As she slipped her foot into the first heel, she felt a little thrill of excitement. She adjusted the strap and stood carefully. Then she put on the second heel, fastening it around her ankle. She took a few steps around the room to practice walking. Everything felt perfect. She imagined herself walking down the grand hall in front of all the guests, smiling and greeting everyone politely. Sophia was so focused on her excitement that she did not notice a tiny crack forming in the heel of her right shoe. It was hidden from view, and she had no idea it could cause any trouble. She practiced walking a few more steps, twirling lightly, enjoying the way the shoes sparkled in the sunlight. Clover watched her with wide eyes, hopping around happily, while Amber clapped her hands and said, "You're going to dazzle everyone today, Sophia." Sophia laughed, feeling confident. She had no idea that something as small as a cracked heel could change everything in just a few moments. Finally, it was time to go down to the grand hall. Sophia held her dress carefully as she descended the staircase, smiling at every step. The sunlight poured through the tall windows, reflecting on the marble floors. She felt proud, elegant, and ready to enjoy the day. Amber walked beside her, holding her hand lightly. Clover followed closely, keeping a watchful eye on her. The hall was quiet, the guests had not yet arrived, and the moment felt magical. Sophia imagined herself walking proudly, feeling like a princess in a storybook. Suddenly, as Sophia took her next step, she felt a strange wobble in her right heel. Her foot tilted slightly, and before she could react, the heel broke completely. There was a loud snap, and Sophia felt herself losing balance. Her arms flailed for a moment, trying to catch herself. Amber gasped loudly, and Clover jumped forward, worried. "Sophia!" Amber shouted, reaching for her. Sophia's heart raced. She had never fallen like this before. The world seemed to tilt around her as she slipped across the smooth marble floor. Time seemed to slow down. She felt fear and shock all at once. Sophia tried to steady herself, but her foot slipped again, and she fell gently onto the floor. She landed with a small thud, her dress spreading around her. She felt embarrassed, even though she had not been hurt badly. Her face turned red as she looked up at Amber, who was kneeling beside her, holding her hand. Clover nuzzled her gently, as if to reassure her that everything would be okay. Sophia blinked quickly, trying to hold back her tears. "I didn't mean to fall," she whispered. Her voice shook slightly, but Amber hugged her warmly. "It's okay, Sophia," Amber said softly. "Accidents happen. You're safe now." Sophia looked at the broken heel lying on the floor. The sparkling shoe that had made her feel so elegant was now damaged. She felt a little sad, but also relieved that she had not been hurt badly. She realized how quickly things could change. One small crack in her heel had caused a slip that could have been dangerous. Sophia understood that even when she felt confident and ready, she had to be careful and watch her steps. Clover hopped closer, rubbing his nose against her hand, and Sophia smiled faintly. She felt grateful for her friend's support. Her parents arrived quickly after hearing the commotion. Queen Miranda and King Roland knelt beside her, checking to make sure Sofia was not hurt. "Sofia, are you all right, my little princess?" her mother asked gently. Sofia nodded slowly. "I'm okay, just a little scared," she admitted. Her father smiled reassuringly. "You were very brave, Sofia. Falling can be frightening, but you stayed calm, and that is important." Sofia felt a small sense of pride. Even though she had fallen, she had not panicked completely. She had trusted that Amber, Clover, and her parents would help her. Amber helped Sofia stand carefully, supporting her as she balanced on her uninjured foot. Clover hopped around happily, relieved that Sofia was safe. Sofia took a few careful steps, feeling the floor under her feet and learning to trust her balance again. She realized that she had to move slowly and pay attention to her footing. The broken heel was taken away, and she decided to continue the day in a more comfortable pair of shoes. Even though she was disappointed about her broken heel, she felt proud that she had faced the fall bravely and learned a valuable lesson about caution. As Sofia adjusted to walking carefully, she reflected on the events of the morning. She understood that accidents could happen to anyone, even a princess. She had felt fear, embarrassment, and worry, but she had also experienced love, support, and care from her friends and family. Sofia learned that courage was not just about being bold, but also about trusting others, staying calm, and learning from mistakes. Clover hopped close to her, and Amber squeezed her hand. Sofia smiled softly, realizing that she was not alone and that she could face challenges with the right support. By the time the guests arrived at the castle, Sofia had regained her composure. She walked carefully into the hall, her dress flowing elegantly, her new comfortable shoes on her feet. She greeted everyone politely, her smile bright and genuine. Though she still remembered the scary slip, Sofia felt proud of herself for recovering quickly. Amber stayed close, helping Sofia feel confident, and Clover hopped happily at her side. Sofia realized that even a small accident could teach big lessons about patience, care, and bravery. The day continued with laughter, conversation, and joyful moments. Sofia moved slowly but confidently, enjoying the company of her friends and family. She learned that even when something unexpected happened, she could adapt, stay calm, and continue to enjoy life. The broken heel was a small mishap in an otherwise wonderful day. Sofia felt grateful for her safety, for the love of those around her, and for the courage she had found within herself. She promised silently to be more careful with her shoes and every step she took in the future. After Sofia's fall, Amber quickly knelt beside her, holding her hand gently. Clover hopped closer, his little nose twitching as he sniffed Sofia's dress and shoes. "Are you okay, Sofia?" Amber asked softly, her eyes full of concern. Sofia blinked, feeling a mixture of embarrassment and relief. "I think so," she replied, her voice small. She could feel her heart racing from the shock of slipping, but the pain in her foot was surprisingly mild. Still, she felt shaken. The castle hall that had seemed so safe and familiar now felt a little frightening. Queen Miranda and King Roland arrived moments later, their faces showing worry and care. "Sofia, my little princess, are you hurt?" Queen Miranda asked, kneeling to check her daughter carefully. Sofia shook her head slowly, though she winced slightly when her injured foot moved. King Roland placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Even if you are not badly hurt, it is important that we take care of you properly," he said kindly. Sofia nodded, realizing that this small accident required attention and careful handling. She felt lucky to have her family there to support her. Amber helped Sofia slowly stand up. "Let's be careful," she said, guiding Sofia toward a nearby chair. Clover followed closely, staying alert. Sofia's heel had completely broken, leaving her with only one functional shoe. She carefully lifted her foot and sat down, noticing a small red mark where her heel had hit the floor. It was not serious, but it was a reminder of how quickly accidents could happen. Sofia felt a little embarrassed, remembering the elegance she had imagined while walking in her sparkling shoes just moments ago. Queen Miranda retrieved a first aid kit while King Roland gently examined Sofia's foot. "It's only a small bruise," he said reassuringly. "You are lucky it wasn't worse." Sofia let out a small sigh of relief. She realized that things could have been more serious, and she was grateful that it had been only a minor injury. Amber brushed some stray hair from Sofia's face and whispered, "It's okay, Sofia. We are here for you." Clover nuzzled her hand, and Sofia smiled faintly, feeling the comfort and support of her friends. As her parents cleaned and dressed the small bruise, Sofia reflected on what had happened. She realized that even though she had felt confident walking in her heels, she had not paid close attention to their condition. A small crack had been enough to cause a slip and a fall. Sofia understood that being careful, even with seemingly small things, was very important. She promised herself that she would always check her shoes and watch her steps more closely in the future. The lesson was simple but meaningful, and Sofia felt wiser already. Amber stayed by Sofia's side, holding her hand and chatting gently to keep her mind at ease. "Sofia, do you remember when we learned to be careful while crossing the river during our adventure?" Amber asked. Sofia nodded. "Yes, I remember. We had to watch every step and hold hands to stay safe." Amber smiled. "Exactly. Even though this is a different kind of adventure, it's still important to be careful. Accidents happen, but we can learn from them." Sofia listened and felt comforted. The support from Amber made the scary experience feel less frightening and more like a lesson to grow from. Clover stayed close to Sofia's feet, occasionally pawing at her injured heel as if trying to make her feel better. Sofia giggled softly, even though she still felt a little shaken. She realized how lucky she was to have friends who cared so much. Amber and Clover's presence reminded her that accidents were not something she had to face alone. Sofia learned that asking for help, accepting comfort, and trusting loved ones were all part of being strong and brave. Once the initial care was finished, Queen Miranda suggested that Sofia rest for a while to let her foot heal. "You should stay seated for a bit, Sofia," she said gently. "It's important not to put pressure on your foot yet." Sofia agreed, grateful for the quiet time. Amber pulled a soft blanket around Sofia and helped her get comfortable in a cozy chair near the window. Clover hopped onto a small cushion beside her, staying alert and protective. Sofia could feel herself starting to relax, knowing that she was in safe hands. As Sofia rested, she began to think about what she could do while she stayed seated. She wanted to keep her mind busy and cheerful. Amber suggested coloring or reading a story, and Sofia eagerly agreed. They pulled out a coloring book filled with pictures of castles, animals, and magical scenes. Sofia carefully colored the pictures, using bright colors for the flowers and soft shades for the skies. Clover occasionally pawed at the crayons, making Sofia laugh. Even though she could not move around freely, Sofia found joy in creating something beautiful. During this quiet time, Sofia reflected more on her accident. She realized that it was not just the broken heel that caused the fall, but also her excitement and distraction. She had been thinking only about looking elegant and fancy, not about walking carefully. Sofia understood that being a princess was not only about wearing beautiful dresses but also about being responsible, aware, and cautious. She promised herself that she would always combine elegance with care and attention in the future. Later, her parents returned to check on her. "Sofia, how are you feeling now?" King Roland asked. Sofia smiled faintly. "Better. My foot hurts only a little, and I feel calmer now." Queen Miranda nodded. "That's wonderful, Sofia. You have been very brave, and your calmness helped you recover quickly. Remember, even small accidents can teach us big lessons." Sofia realized the truth in her mother's words. The fall had been scary, but it had taught her about patience, awareness, and responsibility. As the day went on, Sofia continued to rest, occasionally taking careful steps with Amber's support. Clover stayed by her side, alert and loving. Sofia felt her confidence returning slowly. She realized that while accidents could be frightening, they could also be moments of learning and growth. She felt proud of herself for staying calm, accepting help, and reflecting on the lessons she had learned. By evening, Sofia could move her foot carefully without pain, and she felt ready to continue her day with caution and awareness. By the end of the day, Sofia had regained some energy and learned an important lesson about carefulness and responsibility. She knew that the broken heel and the fall were reminders to pay attention, be aware, and accept help when needed. Amber smiled at her and said, "You were very brave today, Sofia. I am proud of you." Clover barked softly, nuzzling her hand. Sofia smiled, feeling love, pride, and gratitude. She realized that with patience, care, and the support of friends and family, she could overcome small accidents and continue to grow stronger and wiser. The morning after Sofia's fall, she woke up feeling a little nervous but determined. Her foot still felt tender, and she remembered the sudden slip from the day before. She stretched carefully under her soft blankets and looked at Clover, who was already awake and watching her with curious eyes. Amber was sitting nearby, sketching quietly. "Good morning, Sofia," Amber said gently. "How is your foot today?" Sofia blinked slowly and replied, "It hurts a little, but I think I can try moving carefully." She felt both nervous and proud at the same time. The accident had frightened her, but she wanted to regain her confidence and continue her day. Queen Miranda entered the room carrying a tray with warm tea and soft fruits. "Good morning, Sofia," she said kindly. "I brought something to make you feel comfortable. We also want to check your foot to see how it is healing." Sofia smiled and accepted the tray, taking small bites of fruit. The warmth of the tea made her feel calm, and the care from her family reminded her that even after a fall, she was safe and loved. Clover hopped closer, giving her a gentle nuzzle for reassurance. Sofia felt comforted and ready to face the day carefully. After breakfast, King Roland arrived to check her foot. He knelt beside Sofia, examining the small bruise and tender area carefully. "Your foot is healing well," he said. "It is important to rest, but we can begin some gentle movements to help you regain strength and balance." Sofia nodded slowly. She understood that recovery required patience and careful steps. Even though she wanted to run and play, she had to start slowly to prevent further injury. Amber helped her adjust her sitting position and encouraged her to flex her foot gently. Clover watched attentively, as if he understood how important the small exercises were. Sofia began with simple stretches. She wiggled her toes carefully and lifted her foot slightly, feeling the small muscles regain strength. At first, it felt strange and a little uncomfortable, but with each gentle movement, she felt her confidence returning. Amber encouraged her softly, "You're doing great, Sofia. Take it slow and pay attention to how your foot feels." Sofia smiled, realizing that small progress was still progress. She had learned that rushing could be dangerous, but patience and care could help her recover more safely. After the exercises, Sofia decided to practice walking slowly. Amber guided her carefully, holding her hand and supporting her steps. Clover walked beside them, staying alert and protective. The first few steps were wobbly, and Sofia felt nervous, remembering her fall. However, with each careful step, she began to feel more balanced. She focused on placing her foot gently and paying attention to her movements. With Amber's guidance and Clover's reassuring presence, Sofia realized that she could trust herself to walk safely again. During the morning, Sofia reflected on the lessons from her accident. She realized that accidents were sometimes caused by small things we do not notice, like a crack in a heel or a moment of distraction. She promised herself to pay more attention in the future, especially when wearing fancy shoes or moving in tricky places. Sofia understood that elegance was important, but safety and care were even more valuable. Clover barked softly, and Sofia giggled, feeling comforted by his playful presence. Even while recovering, she felt happiness and support from her friends. Later, Sofia spent some time sitting by the window, looking at the castle garden. The flowers were blooming, and the sunlight reflected beautifully on the water fountain. She took slow, deep breaths, enjoying the peaceful moment. Amber sat beside her, reading a story aloud. Clover lay curled near Sofia's feet, providing warmth and companionship. Sofia realized that even while her foot was healing, she could still enjoy her surroundings and find happiness in quiet moments. She learned that healing was not just about the body but also about keeping the mind calm and positive. As the day went on, Sofia practiced walking a little more, each time gaining confidence. She realized that moving slowly and carefully allowed her to regain trust in herself. The bruise on her foot was fading, and she could put a bit more weight on it without pain. Amber cheered her on gently, saying, "Look at you, Sofia. You are walking so well now." Clover barked excitedly, hopping beside her. Sofia felt proud of herself. She understood that accidents could teach valuable lessons about patience, responsibility, and perseverance. In the afternoon, Queen Miranda suggested some fun indoor activities to keep Sofia entertained while her foot healed completely. They painted colorful pictures, played gentle games, and solved small puzzles together. Sofia discovered that she could still enjoy her favorite activities without moving too much or risking another fall. She realized that adapting to her situation was important, and creativity could make recovery enjoyable. Clover occasionally pawed at the paints and pencils, making Sofia laugh. Even in recovery, she found ways to smile and feel happy. During a quiet moment, Sofia thought about how important Amber and Clover had been during her accident and recovery. Amber had stayed calm, supportive, and caring, while Clover had provided constant comfort. Sofia realized that friends and family were essential in facing challenges. Their presence made scary moments easier and recovery faster. She felt grateful for their love and guidance. She promised herself to always appreciate those who helped her, not only during big adventures but also during small accidents like this one. As evening approached, Sofia's parents returned to check on her. King Roland helped her walk carefully to the dining area for a light dinner. Queen Miranda smiled at her, saying, "You are doing wonderfully, Sofia. Your foot is healing, and your confidence is returning. Remember to take it slow and always pay attention." Sofia nodded, feeling proud and mature. She realized that even a small fall could teach important lessons about responsibility, patience, and self-awareness. She took careful steps, feeling stronger with each movement. Before bedtime, Sofia reflected on the day. She had practiced walking, done gentle exercises, enjoyed indoor games, and spent time appreciating her surroundings. She understood that recovery was a process, and every careful step helped her grow stronger. She had faced fear, embarrassment, and discomfort but had learned to stay calm, accept help, and regain confidence. Clover curled up beside her, and Amber tucked her in warmly. Sofia smiled softly, feeling safe, loved, and proud of her progress. Finally, as she drifted off to sleep, Sofia whispered to herself, "I am stronger now. I have learned to be careful, patient, and brave. I can face anything with love and care." Clover nuzzled her gently, and Amber smiled beside her. Sofia closed her eyes, feeling peaceful and ready for a healthier, safer, and brighter day tomorrow. She understood that even small accidents like a broken heel could teach lessons that would help her throughout her life. The next morning, Sofia woke up feeling stronger and more confident. Her foot was still tender, but the bruise from her fall had faded significantly. She stretched carefully in her soft bed, feeling the warmth of the sunlight streaming through her window. Clover was already awake, hopping around her room in excitement. Amber was sitting nearby, arranging a few books and coloring supplies for Sofia. "Good morning, Sofia. How is your foot today?" Amber asked, smiling. Sofia looked down at her foot, wiggling her toes gently. "Much better, Amber. I feel ready to try moving more carefully today," she said, a hint of pride in her voice. After a warm breakfast, Queen Miranda suggested that Sofia begin moving around slowly to strengthen her foot further. Amber helped her put on a pair of comfortable shoes that were soft and safe for walking. Sofia felt relief as she slipped her feet into them. She could move freely without worrying about another broken heel. Clover barked happily, excited to accompany her on her first cautious walk since the fall. Sofia took careful steps through her room, then down the hallway, focusing on balance and patience. Each step made her feel more confident. As Sofia continued walking, she thought about the lessons she had learned from the fall. She realized that accidents could happen to anyone, even a princess, and that being careful and aware of her surroundings was important. She also understood the value of support from friends and family. Amber walked beside her, holding her hand lightly, while Clover stayed close to her feet. Sofia smiled, feeling grateful for their constant presence. She knew that even small acts of care, like Amber's guidance and Clover's company, had helped her regain confidence faster. Once Sofia felt comfortable walking indoors, Queen Miranda suggested a short trip to the castle garden. The garden was filled with blooming flowers, tall trees, and bright sunlight. It was a place where Sofia could enjoy nature while practicing careful walking. Amber and Clover accompanied her, making sure she was safe at every step. The fresh air and beautiful scenery lifted Sofia's spirits. She realized that even though her fall had been frightening, she could still enjoy her favorite places as long as she moved carefully. In the garden, Sofia practiced walking slowly over different surfaces. She stepped on the soft grass, feeling it cushion her feet, and then on the smooth stone paths, paying close attention to her balance. Clover ran beside her, occasionally stopping to sniff flowers or chase a butterfly, bringing smiles to Sofia's face. Amber reminded her gently, "Take your time, Sofia. Every careful step makes your foot stronger." Sofia nodded, focusing on each movement and feeling a growing sense of pride. She realized that patience and caution could make even a challenging recovery a positive experience. After a while, Sofia decided to try a few gentle exercises. She lifted her foot carefully onto a small bench, stretched slowly, and rotated her ankle lightly. Clover watched attentively, hopping from one paw to the other. Amber encouraged her softly, saying, "You're doing great, Sofia. Your foot is getting stronger every day." Sofia smiled and felt a sense of accomplishment. She realized that recovery was not just about healing the body but also about building confidence and learning to adapt to situations carefully. Later, Sofia explored some creative indoor activities. She painted pictures of the garden she had just walked through, drawing flowers, trees, and butterflies. Clover occasionally pawed at her art supplies, making her laugh. Amber helped her create small decorations for her room. Sofia realized that even while recovering from her fall, she could enjoy her favorite activities and find happiness in them. She learned that creativity and patience could make difficult times more enjoyable. As the day progressed, Sofia continued to regain her confidence. She practiced walking up and down the gentle slopes in the garden, holding Amber's hand lightly for support. She discovered that moving slowly and mindfully allowed her to enjoy the surroundings without worrying about slipping. Clover followed closely, providing a playful and comforting presence. Sofia felt proud of herself. She realized that the fall had taught her important lessons: to pay attention, to trust her friends and family, and to take small steps carefully when needed. By afternoon, Queen Miranda and King Roland joined Sofia in the garden. They smiled as they saw her walking carefully but confidently. "You have recovered wonderfully, Sofia," Queen Miranda said warmly. "Your patience and care are helping you regain strength quickly." King Roland nodded. "Remember, Sofia, even when things seem simple, being careful and responsible is important. You are learning valuable lessons that will help you in many situations." Sofia felt proud and happy. She understood that even small accidents could teach big lessons. Later in the garden, Sofia played gentle games with Amber and Clover. They tossed soft balls, counted flowers, and watched butterflies flutter around. Each activity was done with care, ensuring Sofia's foot remained safe. She realized that fun did not have to be risky and that she could enjoy every moment while still being cautious. Clover barked happily, hopping around, and Sofia laughed, feeling the joy of being active without fear. Amber smiled, proud of Sofia's determination and growing confidence. As evening approached, Sofia returned to her room, feeling tired but happy. She reflected on the day's events and the progress she had made. Her foot was stronger, her confidence was higher, and she felt more aware of her surroundings. She understood that accidents like her fall could happen, but with patience, care, and support, she could recover and continue enjoying her life. Clover curled up beside her, and Amber helped her settle comfortably. Sofia felt safe, loved, and proud of herself. Before bedtime, Sofia whispered softly to Clover and Amber, "Thank you for helping me today. I feel stronger, braver, and happier." Clover nuzzled her hand, and Amber smiled warmly. Sofia closed her eyes, feeling peaceful and confident. She realized that even though the fall had been scary, it had taught her valuable lessons about patience, caution, and resilience. She drifted off to sleep with a heart full of gratitude, ready to continue her journey with care and confidence in the days to come. The next morning, Sofia woke up feeling fully refreshed and stronger than she had in the past few days. The bruise on her foot had almost disappeared, and the tenderness had gone. She stretched carefully, feeling her muscles relaxed and her energy returning. Clover was already awake, hopping excitedly near her bed, and Amber was sitting by the window, reading a story. Sofia smiled, feeling a sense of pride and happiness. "Good morning, Clover." "Good morning, Amber," she said cheerfully. Amber looked up and returned her smile. "Good morning, Sofia. You look ready for a full day of adventure today," she said. After a hearty breakfast, Sofia decided it was time to walk around the castle freely again. She put on her comfortable shoes, the ones that had protected her foot during recovery. The heels that had caused her fall were still in her room, a reminder of what had happened, but Sofia was not afraid. She remembered the lessons she had learned: always be careful, pay attention, and ask for help when needed. Clover barked happily, ready to accompany her, and Amber took her hand lightly, offering support and encouragement. Sofia felt confident that she could move safely. As Sofia walked down the castle halls, she noticed how familiar everything felt. The smooth marble floors, the tall windows, and the beautiful decorations all seemed more magical after her fall. She moved slowly at first, paying attention to each step, but soon her confidence grew. Each step reminded her that she had recovered and learned an important lesson. Amber walked beside her, and Clover hopped happily at her feet. Sofia felt a sense of joy and freedom. She realized that even after accidents, it was possible to regain strength, confidence, and happiness. Later, Sofia visited the castle garden, a place she loved. The sunlight was bright, flowers were blooming, and butterflies danced in the air. She took careful steps on the grass, feeling it soft beneath her feet, and then moved onto the stone paths, stepping steadily and confidently. Clover ran beside her, stopping occasionally to sniff the flowers. Amber laughed as Sofia twirled gently, enjoying the fresh air and freedom. Sofia realized that her fall had taught her to be more aware, but it had not taken away her joy. She felt proud of herself for walking freely and confidently again. During the afternoon, Sofia engaged in fun activities with Amber and Clover. They played gentle games, tossed softballs, and counted flowers. Each game was carefully adapted to ensure that Sofia's foot remained safe. She realized that having fun did not mean being careless. It meant finding joy while being responsible. Clover barked happily and ran around, making Sofia laugh with his playful antics. Amber encouraged her gently, saying, "You are doing wonderfully, Sofia. Look how confident and careful you are now." Sofia felt proud of her progress and grateful for the support from her friends. As the day continued, Sofia reflected on the lessons from her fall. She realized that her confidence had returned not just because her foot had healed, but because she had learned to be patient, careful, and aware. She understood that accidents could happen to anyone, even a princess, and that what mattered was how she responded. By staying calm, asking for help, and taking small steps, she had regained her strength and confidence. Sofia smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment and maturity beyond her years. In the late afternoon, Queen Miranda and King Roland joined Sofia in the garden. They watched proudly as she walked carefully, explored the flowers, and played with Clover. "You have recovered beautifully, Sofia," Queen Miranda said warmly. "Your patience, courage, and care have helped you regain your strength and confidence." King Roland nodded in agreement. "Yes, Sofia. You have learned an important lesson about caution, responsibility, and resilience. You faced fear, stayed calm, and grew stronger through this experience." Sofia felt proud and happy. She realized that even small accidents could teach valuable lessons that would help her in the future. Sofia also reflected on the importance of her friends. Amber had been patient, supportive, and encouraging every step of the way. Clover had stayed close, providing comfort, protection, and a sense of companionship. Sofia realized that the love and support of friends and family made her feel safe and confident, even after a frightening accident. She understood that asking for help and accepting care were signs of strength, not weakness. Sofia felt grateful for everyone who had helped her through her fall and recovery. As evening approached, Sofia returned to her room, tired but happy. She took off her shoes carefully and looked at the broken heel that had caused her fall. She smiled softly. The heel was a reminder of what had happened, but it no longer frightened her. Instead, it reminded her of her courage, her patience, and the lessons she had learned. She knew that she would be more careful in the future and that even small accidents could teach big lessons. Clover curled up beside her, and Amber helped her get comfortable on her bed. Sofia felt safe, loved, and proud of herself. Before going to sleep, Sofia whispered softly, "Thank you for helping me, Amber. Thank you for staying close, Clover. I feel strong, happy, and ready for new adventures." Clover nuzzled her hand gently, and Amber smiled warmly. Sofia closed her eyes, feeling peaceful and confident. She had learned that being careful, patient, and attentive could help her overcome challenges. She had regained her confidence, and she was ready to enjoy life fully, knowing she could face anything with care, courage, and support. As Sofia drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of the adventures she would have in the days to come. She imagined herself walking gracefully through the castle halls, exploring the gardens, and playing with her friends, always mindful and aware. She felt proud of herself for recovering from her fall, for learning important lessons, and for growing stronger and wiser. With her heart full of gratitude, love, and confidence, Sofia slept peacefully, ready for every magical day ahead, knowing she had turned a small accident into a moment of learning and growth.